Great. Thanks very much. You have 5 minutes.
Good afternoon. Again, my name is Tim Maguire, President of QP Local 79, and we represent the workers at the inside workers at the City of Toronto, including those that serve vulnerable populations in Toronto's shelter, public shelter system. Local 79 respectfully recommends the committee and City Council, 1, support the staff recommended actions to reverse the budget cuts, which meant service cuts, and maintain the 10.3 frontline staff positions that were scheduled for elimination. 2, that the City develop and implement an action plan that requires opening of emergency shelters when there's a documented surge in demand. This plan should be implemented when occupancy of shelters in the Out of the Cold program, overnight drop-ins and emergency programs exceeds 90% of the available shelter beds. And you might want to consider that this is the year in which one of the co-founders of the Out of the Cold program, Sister Susan Moran, unfortunately passed, and we can think of her and perhaps name part of this policy after her for the role that Out of the Cold and other drop-in centres provide in ensuring that the homeless in the city are taken care of. In that vein, we also recommend that city staff consult with emergency shelter providers such as Out of the Cold, drop-in programs, and of course we would like to be consulted at QP Local 79 representing frontline workers in shelters, and we often engage our frontline workers in surveying them and talking to them and engaging with them as we put forward public policy positions here at City Hall. And we suggest you direct city staff to come forward with a long-term sustainable plan for staffing in shelters that properly delivers the wraparound services and supports the homeless need to get housed. As part of that plan, ensured staffing vacancies do not go above 2.5%. The earlier recommended deletion of, or past deletion of 10.3 frontline shelter staff made the gapping issue in Toronto shelters worse. Over the past few years, the allowed staff gapping rate, the percentage of vacant positions the divisions are allowed to have, has grown from 2.5 to 3.6%. As of September 2016, the actual vacancy rate was 6.1%. We need this turned around. Shelters is one of those divisions because of the lack of resources that they're giving to meet the service demand, means that they're increasingly reliant on temporary contracts, on part-time, last-minute sometimes, shift work. So it's one of the divisions that not only meets its target gapping because it's gapping target because it's not given the resources, it's been moving to a reliance on part-time workers, sometimes part-time workers that have other jobs, and we know that a couple of times our members have been given availability policies that they give the city, for instance, 2 shifts during the week and 2 on weekends, and if they have another job, either part-time or full-time, if they have to do that, they can't do it. We've had good people leave the employ of the city that know what they're doing, they have experience serving Toronto's homeless population, and they just can't do it because they're given those kinds of edicts. They know that why they're being given, but they have other responsibilities as well. So we need a permanent plan that involves various pieces, but particularly that staffing be kept at higher levels, and that recognizes that you have stable service if you have stable staff. If you have unstable staffing, you have unstable service. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions for the deputant? I just have one. Are you supportive of the staff report that's in front of us and the strategy for reinstating the 10 positions?
Yes, we understand that this is a measure to get us through the next period of time. What can't happen is only Part A without Part B, which is a further plan to make sure we have a permanent plan to take care of homelessness.
So the piece in there about gapping is not...
we understand that this was what the city has to do to get us through the next budget cycle. Let's do that, but make sure by the next budget cycle we have a permanent plan in place with the resources that it needs.
Okay, fair enough. Any other committee members? Questions for the deputant? No? Okay, thanks very much, Tim.